Had you been to this part of town? Have you been
No,
to this?
it's the first time.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you walk through here, did you drive through here? Did you drive here?
No, we stopped at Commissar House.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Now, as you drove
Yes.
through here, what was your sense? Did you feel the crowd? What was the sense you got?
Oh wow! I mean, it's a huge crowd. I mean, we don't know these kinds of markets in Europe. Yeah, so it's really something quite impressive. All those people selling their stuff on the streets, and how lively it is, and all those people and and selling their things. We don't have that. Everything is very regulated in our countries. And people are not like sitting in the park or at the street and selling their own homemade cookies or something like that. We have rules on everything. You can't do that. So it's impressive how much entrepreneurial power also is behind these people, because they have to take care of themselves.
Yeah. Well, I will say we do need regulation. I'll say that. But Anita Posch, I'm so happy you're here. Welcome to Simoson.
Thank you for the invitation. I'm honored.
Absolutely. And now your full name is Anita Posch. Initially, I thought it was related to the car, the Posch. But how do you pronounce your last name?
Posch. That's P-O-S-C-H.
Posch.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I always thought people will relate it to I'm posh, because that's the English word for it. But I'm not, and I also have the C between the S and the H. And I always think about Posh Spice, from the Spice Girls. Yeah. Interesting.
Now you are from Austria. Mm-hmm. And that's the same place that Arnold Schwarzenegger comes from.
Yes,
do you know the Schwarzeneggers?
No, I don't. Sadly. Because I think there's a lot to learn from Arnold Schwarzenegger and how he made his way out of the province in Styria in Austria, where he had nothing, and he just believed in his dream and he made it. And that's something impressive.
Interesting. Now, forgive this ignorant question. I always thought that Austria and Germany were two different deals. Explain that.
They are two different deals, yeah. So Austria and Germany. Austria is a small country south of Germany. Only in the Second World War, before when Hitler came to Austria, which he actually was an Austrian, but they annexated Austria, so we were Austria and Germany in one country. But after the war, we gained our independence again, and we are a neutral country. We're not partner of the NATO and things. So Austria is a relatively small country with 8 million inhabitants, and it's a nice place. Yeah, we have a lot of.
But Austria, you speak German in Austria.
Exactly. That's where maybe the confusion comes from. We speak the same language, which is German, but we have our own dialect. So there are different dialects also in Austria and Germany.
Interesting. And now, Anita, tell me, did you study in Austria? You grew up in Austria and you studied there?
Yes.
What did you study?
I grew up in Austria. I studied urban planning at the Technical University in Vienna. But very soon after that, the internet came to Austria, so I got my first email account in 1997, and I realized, wow, internet communication globally, borderless, open, I can talk to anyone, and I knew that there will also be a lot of business and economical possibilities, and so I got to become a web designer and e-commerce project builder and things like that. And from then, that I did that very long, actually, almost 20 years before I found Bitcoin.
So now you are a Bitcoin educator, and you've written a book, interestingly enough, called Learn Bitcoin, Become a Financial what?
Become financially sovereign.
Sovereign.
Yeah, that's
right.
a special writing,
right.
because there's a platform called Sovereign, yeah.
Right.
But it's about self-sovereignty, yeah? and to regain freedom in the form of money, which won't make you rich immediately in any case, but it gives you the power back to own your own money, because all the money we have, like mobile money, money on the banks, is all in danger, like that the bank cuts off you from your account maybe, or they run out of money or something else. And with Bitcoin, it's like cash, but it's digital. So you have the properties of cash. It belongs to you. Nobody can take it away from you. You can use it for whatever you want, but it's only digital. So that's what Bitcoin is.
Now, I find it interesting that in your book, you've quoted a man by the name of Satoshi Nakamoto.
Yes.
And he says, in writing a description or in trying to describe what Bitcoin is for general audiences, that's a very difficult thing to do. There's nothing that you can relate it to.
Yes.
So how have you managed to write about it? Because Bitcoin, to the average person, it's very confusing. We don't know what it is or what it looks like. Explain that to us.
Okay, so the guy is Satoshi Nakamoto. We don't know if he's a guy or a group of people, but Satoshi Nakamoto was the inventor or the founder of Bitcoin. It's anonymous, so we don't know if he's living or if he's dead or whatever. So it's so difficult to understand it. We have to acknowledge that. But the thing is, you don't have to understand it to use it. You only need to know some basic rules to be able to use it. It's the same with email or WhatsApp. Like 20 years ago, if you told someone you will use a smartphone and on your phone you have WhatsApp and you can write for free to anyone in the world, you would not, And also,
that's a very good example.
How does WhatsApp work? You don't need to know that. You just use it. And it's the same basically with Bitcoin. And I think he wrote that because it's. I needed also like a year until I had the feeling, okay, now I think I understand how all those things work together, because it's a very complex system of software, IT, mining, Bitcoin mining, which is a computer processing basically with specialized computers. So it takes you a long walk into the rabbit hole, as we say, and do research, read other books, learn from other people who are longer in the space than I have been. And and there are a lot of online free courses to learn about Bitcoin. The only thing is you have to find out the good ones, and I can help people also with that.
Now, so in a nutshell, when someone walks up to you and says, Anita Posch, what is Bitcoin? Are you able to quantify it? Are you able to describe it to me in simple terms?
I hope so. It's basically sending an email to someone else, but now you can send value to someone else. So with this value, like with Bitcoin, the other person can take it, you can cash it out, you can buy other things for it, or you can hold it and hope and wait for a value increase. So there are different forms of things that you can do with Bitcoin. So first, for instance, you can hedge against inflation. That means the Zambian kwacha has lost 23%, I think, last year due to inflation. So at the beginning of the year, you had 100 kwacha, and at the end of the year, you only had like 75 in value. With Bitcoin, it's different. Bitcoin cannot be inflated by the government. So it doesn't have any centralized control. Yeah? It's a software protocol that works without rulers. So it has rules.
A software protocol,
it's a protocol
that works without rules.
Without rulers.
Rulers.
It has rules.
Right.
And
it has rules, but it
written.
works without rulers.
Exactly.
Right.
That's the fantastic thing about it. It has its rules, and everybody has to agree on these rules because there's a global consensus. All the users of Bitcoin agree to use the software in its version at the moment. And in the software, you can basically say the rules are laid out. And every open source developer, every person who has the skills to read code can read it and can see if the truth, if it's really working like it said. So it's an open, transparent protocol that enables the internet of money. So basically it's internet, but you can send money globally.
The internet of money. Interesting. So now I have to tell you, here in Zambia, we have a problem here with, for example, last year there was this talk of cryptocurrency. There was some organization that claimed that if you invest your money into cryptocurrency, you invest a certain amount, and after a short time, let's say 30 days, you get this huge amount of money back. How do you protect? How do you advise people to sort of detect what a fraud is, detect what fake cryptocurrency trading is? How do you tell someone how to recognize it?
Yeah, we also have that problem in Europe and in other Western countries, but I think here it's a bigger problem. So how can you detect a scam? You can't get rich quick. That's the first thing. So in all things money, you have to work, you have to wait, you have to save, and you have to hold your money. It's the same with Bitcoin.
You can't get rich quick.
No.
So anyone that says, give me 10,000 today, and within 30 days, I'll give you 80,000.
Now that's a lie. How can this work? This cannot work. So if someone is promising you profits like 100% interest or doubling your money in 30 days, that's not true. That cannot be made. Nobody can do that. It's a fraud. Then sometimes people say, you can join Bitcoin. Whenever you hear join Bitcoin, run away. Yeah, it's you can't join Bitcoin because it's an open internet protocol. There's no company behind. There's no company called Bitcoin. That's the great thing about it. It's a community money. And also, if they pressure you, they say, you have to pay now. Like in 10 days, it's too late. You can't deal, you're not part of it. That's also, putting pressure on you. It's also a scam.
So anytime someone walks up to you and says, look, if you don't get in now, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
So they sort of pressure you to become desperate, and the fierce urgency of now. As soon as they say that, that's a red flag.
Yeah, run. Yeah.
Okay.
Or if they ask you then to bring your friends and family, that's most probably a pyramid scheme. Yeah. So you can use Bitcoin, you can earn it, you can exchange it. There are exchanges online. For instance, one is okcoin.com, which is a certified, licensed global Bitcoin exchange, where you can send your kwacha and you get Bitcoin for it. Or the first company in Zambia, is Yellow Card. So they have an office in Lusaka.
That's I see Yellow Card.
Yes.
One of my friends, his name is K-Star. He advertises for Yellow Card.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I've never known what Yellow Card was until just now that you've mentioned it to me.
You can basically use your kwacha, go to a mobile money agent, put it into your Span mobile wallet app.
Yes.
And
we have Span here. We do.
Yes. Yeah. And from the Span app, you then can buy Bitcoin at Yellow Card. So you can exchange your kwacha to Bitcoin, and Yellow Card then sends it to you. So that's a possibility here to get Bitcoin and then save it on your mobile phone in your own wallet.
Interesting. So tell me about some of the future applications of money based on Bitcoin.
Yes. So for instance, you can earn Bitcoin already. So if you have internet access, there are websites like BitGigs, Coinality, and others. I have them on my website, where you can do small online jobs. And for that, you can earn Bitcoin. There are possibilities if you're a digital entrepreneur and you're writing something about a special topic and you want to sell a PDF, you can do that with Bitcoin. So people from all over the world can buy from you. You can be a podcaster and receive Satoshis, which is the smallest unit of Bitcoin. There's also one thing I want to say. You don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. One Bitcoin costs $42,000 at the moment. Nobody can afford that. So you can buy Satoshis. You can buy Bitcoin for like $5 or 20 kwacha.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that because I must, and sorry to interrupt, but I must tell you that I did Google the value of Bitcoin, and the figure that popped up, I couldn't believe it. I thought, well, that's something I can't do, and so and this sort of applies to people who see this, they see that astronomical figure of $42,000 per Bitcoin,
Yes.
and it just immediately puts them off.
Yes.
So what you're saying is that you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin.
No, no.
You can buy what? Parts of it?
You can buy parts of it. So the smallest unit is 1 Satoshi, and it's 100 millionth of a Bitcoin.
It's 100 million? 100 millionth?
Yes, thank you. Of a Bitcoin.
It's 100 millionth of a Bitcoin.
Yes, so for instance,
like a tiny bit of the Bitcoin.
You can use a sub US dollar amount, like $1 is at the moment 2,400 Satoshis. Yes, but I can send to you 50 Satoshis. That's a value that you can't express in US dollars. So you can send these micropayments globally in seconds, and that's also a way how you can earn Bitcoin with podcasting. So I have a podcast, it has a feed, and my listeners have the podcast on their phone. And with a wallet, an app called Breeze, B-R-E-E-Z, you can listen to a podcast, and at the same time, I can say, okay, I want to send 100 Satoshi per minute to this podcaster because I like her content. So you can earn from your podcast without the need of Facebook or any ads. You don't have to sell ads. You can do that also with YouTube videos or with digital content on a website. So for instance, you have a blog and you have those pay-per-view, for instance. So you can say, I want that people pay me 1,000 Satoshis, 50 cents, to read that article. And you just take your wallet, you scan a QR code on the desktop, and you get entry to read this article. So it's a fantastic world, and it all works without intermediaries. You don't need Facebook, you don't need Google, you don't need all the big companies that take the money away from you. And you also don't need banks, which is also a great advantage.
You also don't need banks. You don't need a middleman.
No, exactly.
No middleman.
You don't need PayPal, you don't need Visa, you don't need any other online payment service which you have to pay. Receiving Bitcoin is basically free. So,
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, I must tell you, I have to go back. There were some Zambians that were arrested for trading in well, claiming to trade in cryptocurrency. In your country, is there a strong regulatory body that looks over this?
Yes, we have regulations, and in many Western countries there are already regulations that companies have to fulfill to be able to open up an exchange, a Bitcoin exchange or a trading exchange. So yes, there is some oversight, but there's still the possibility for people, because I think Bitcoin is the people's money. It's working peer-to-peer. You don't need anyone to interfere. Because it's absolutely unforgeable, yeah. It's secure.
It's what?
Forgeable. You can't.
Unforgeable.
Yeah.
Right. You cannot forge it.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So you can also get it from your peers. We have those Bitcoin meetups in many towns where people informally meet with each other, and they also become friends. And then they exchange, or they explain to you, how does a wallet work? What do I need to look out for? And they help you set it up. And so I think, yes, a little bit of regulation is good for the companies, and also to get a hold of the problem of the scams. Yeah. But in general, I think to start using it and to save your money to profit in the future, you don't need banks or the regulation. Yeah.
Interesting. So now, lastly, there's someone watching us now. Incidentally, someone has said, what is the name of your website?
BFFBTC, that's Bitcoin for Fairness, btc.org.
Okay, all right. Now, lastly, someone is watching us now.
Yes.
They want to invest in Bitcoin. What should they do first? How do you walk them through it?
Okay, first I would suggest to watch the talk, the videos, the slides I did in Lusaka at the university, and things like that, and follow me on Twitter. And what should they do first? So there are open source wallets. For instance, one is called bluewallet.io. You can download it onto your phone, And then you write down the 12 words that the wallet is giving you. You can't choose your password there, you get one. You write that down on a sheet of paper and keep it very, very, very secure, because it always will give you access to your Bitcoin. And as soon as you've set that up, you can use your SPEN wallet, go to yellow card, exchange a little bit, and then send it into your own blue wallet on your phone. Or you can start podcasting, yeah. And best is you write me a message and I can lead you.
Fantastic. Well, hey, lady, you have a book right
Yes.
there. Could you just show them the book? And that's the book you wrote.
That's the book I wrote. It's a beginner's book where I lay out the basics of Bitcoin, how it works, and all also the negative side effects it can have, and how you have to be careful in using it, and also with security tips and things like that. Yes, that's the book.
So if somebody wants to buy that book, how do they get it?
You can get it on Amazon. You can get it as an ebook on my website. And maybe we can print it here in Zambia. We'll take a look into that.
I was very pleased when you said to me you brought that as a gift for me.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Could you sign it for me?
Yes, of course.
I love that. Thank you so much. So I'm just going to show you signing that for me. Thank you so much. Thank you. Lovely. Lovely. Thank you so much, Anita Posch. I'm so grateful, and thank you for coming through.
Thank you for the invitation.
Absolutely. Bye-bye. Say bye to these Facebook people.
Bye.